Welcome to The Trend, sponsored by Hint. I'm Rebecca Granet. Well, you got to know my guest today as a member of Big Time Rush, but now he is on his own and has released his debut solo album called How I Like It. And he also just recently won the Macy's iHeartRadio Rising Star competition. It is James Maslow. Welcome, James.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, James, I want to start with you. We need to go through this for a second, because I just imagine your life is so tough right now. You have
Get him keep a straight face.
Right?
You know, give me a little bit of credit.
No,
Sorry,
I mean,
go on.
No, you have this hot new album out right now. You're acting. You have the whole former fame from Big Time Rush thing going on. You are on the cover of Men's Health Mexico for the July issue. You win the iHeart Rising Star competition. You are every girl's dream heartthrob right now. If you read all the comments.
Ladies, you listening? Just listen to her.
No, you read all the comments. They're like, James, we love you so much. Is it tough being this heartthrob and keeping up with all that?
You know, there's a lot going on. So if there is any semblance of something being difficult, it's that I just have to multitask and do a lot, and especially doing this independently. I am working a lot, but I love what I do. So of course it doesn't really feel like work. I just sleep a couple less hours. It's amazing though. This has always been my goal, you know, from Big Time Rush to then eventually take a lot of that and move over and transcend it to my own projects. And the fact that that's finally coming to fruition with the album being done, starting to play more concerts, my own films coming out, it is all coming together, and it's just incredibly exciting. Yeah.
So now, I mean, you started off really where people got to know you in Big Time Rush, and that was one of four, right? So now you're on your own, making your own music. Talk to me about the freedom that you're experiencing now, getting to cut your own album and just having the freedom to do what you want.
You know, it's amazing. It started out as being incredibly difficult because, you know, everybody wants freedom. The grass is always greener in that regard, right? But then it took me a couple of years to figure that out. And within that period of time, I can't tell you how many times I just went, yeah, never gonna figure it out. Never gonna, you know, because I probably wrote over 100 songs from when the band ended to when I just released How I Like It. Each one in the moment, when you're writing it, you're like, oh, this is amazing, this is awesome. Then you come back and you go, no, not good enough. Or, ah, it just isn't quite right. To develop something that just feels authentic and new. And that's not something that anybody can give to an artist. That's something that an artist has to go through his own trials and tribulations and tests to figure out. So that is the tough part, the crappy part about the freedom. Nobody helping, nobody giving direction. But then once you do figure it out, and now that I finally have, it's more rewarding than I can tell you.
Oh, wow. So the title itself, How I Like It, did you hit that very quickly? Did you come upon that very quickly? Because you're like, yeah, this is me. This is how I like my music.
You know, I'd written the song, which was one of the first songs that really made the album. So that and Cry and just a couple others really set the sonic palette for where I was going. So it was always one of my favorites. And then when I was looking to title the album, I went back to that and went, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. And that I'm creating art and music in a way that I like, with no one else telling me what to do. So for better or worse, this is how I enjoy making music, and a lot of different examples of the type of music I like and how I like to sing. And it's just the best explanation of what I'm doing. I'm doing things the way that I want. What
was going on in your life at the time that informed your music on this album? Things that were going on that we're hearing about in the, you know, in the different songs?
It's mostly about the past 2-3 years of my life.
Okay.
There are songs that track back to my childhood and other experiences, but most of it was me going from just years and years of nothing but work, you know, on set and on a tour bus and back and forth, and that's what I did for, what, about 6 years. And that's amazing. That's an incredibly specific experience. And so then I had to go and explore what it means to kind of just be a young man and travel and make new friends and party and have relationships. And like, you know, I was working, did a bunch of independent films, was constantly writing music, but also just experiencing life. And I'm just so grateful to my friends and family that were with me along that period of time, because those experiences are really what this album is about.
And what about your writing process? So you said, you know, sometimes you're writing a song and you say, oh, okay, it's not hitting it perfectly, and other ones you're like, yeah, this is awesome. So what is the process for you? What gets you, you know, in the mood to write a song, and then what makes you say, that's it?
What's kind of cool about this album is that never once did I reference another artist or listen to a song and go, I want to create something like that. Each time it was just organic jumping in, starting with piano or starting with a guitar, just completely from scratch. So it was inspiration of what have we spoken about? What's something that I want to say that I haven't spoken about? My boy Doug Makuda, who ended up writing and producing most of the album with me. It's really him and I for 10 of the 12 songs.
Oh, wow.
He just, when we met, we hit it off in a similar place, incredibly talented musician. And dude, he would just ask me questions the same way I would with any other artist I was writing for, working with, like, yo, what's going on in your life right now? And then immediately when something sparked that he or I was like, yo, that's actually kind of cool. Yo, we haven't said anything, we would just run with it. And that excitement, as long as we were excited about the music, kept going and going and going. When something became frustrated, we would just move on. We would just put it aside and move on, maybe revisit it once, but almost every song on the album came quickly as kind of a, inspired by just that excitement of something we hadn't really discovered yet.
Okay. James, you have amazing fans, and obviously so many of them watching on Facebook Live right now, so we'll say hi to them. One fan question, so I want to, yeah, take a sip, get ready for this question.
Oh, get ready.
Carol, I always hope I say the names right, that's always my biggest worry, but Carolina Gala says, what do you think about collaborating, or have you, doing a collaboration with Demi Lovato?
I think Demi is incredibly talented. I mean, just in terms of vocal ability and quality, I mean, we've done some, back in the day, did some radio shows with her. I've seen her live several times. She's unbelievable. She's the real deal. Not that, I'm not going to point to anybody who isn't as good, but she's just one of the best vocalists of our time.
Yeah, her range is incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd be honored to. She's a rad chick and super talented. What more do you want?
Okay, Demi, there you go. So I want to talk about your song Cry, because there's a beautiful sort of story connected to that song that you created an acoustic version for.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So originally, Cry, we wanted to have the music kind of go against, juxtapose, if you will, the lyrics, and it's very, seemingly sad. Cry. Ultimately, it's a positive story. It's that, crying, if you need to cry about something, that's okay, but do it, let it go, get it out, and move on. And so that's really the point of the story at the end. But we had this, kind of trap rap background to it, which is super dope. We had my boy City Fidelia come and do a rap, and it turned out to be something really cool. But then this charity, Mission Saver, that I'm now on the board of, that I've become very close with, which is about combating human trafficking, heard it through some of my friends, Eric Benet and Reggie Benjamin, who are on the board as well, and said, yo, we'd love to use this for one of our documentaries coming up, which is called Twilight. It's going to be coming out hopefully later this year. That's beautiful.
Super powerful.
Yeah. And I said, of course you can use it, but then went back to Doug and went, dude, why don't we create an acoustic version of it, slow it down, and let the music really contribute to what the words are saying this time? He got super excited about it, and that's where the acoustic version came from, which is one of my favorite songs on the album, where we just have piano, a little bit of cello, and like a touch of guitar, and that's it. And I just think it's beautiful, and it really complements what the words are saying, and it works a lot better for the charity.
Since this is giving you and the charity such a nice partnership and a platform to talk more about this, I wonder what you learned about human trafficking that you think people should know.
I just don't think that most people, at least most people in my world, living in Los Angeles or New York or big cities, have any idea how astronomical of a problem it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the largest growing criminal enterprise in the world. People are making billions of dollars off of trafficking other human beings. That's obviously something bad. I don't think people really have this discussion often enough to realize it's happening out of our own hometowns. It happens out of New York City. It happens out of Los Angeles, out of San Diego, where I'm from. And that scared the crap out of me. Didn't realize how prevalent and immediate of an issue it was. So that's why immediately I wanted to jump on board and see what I could do to utilize my music to make a difference and to help. Yeah,
making a difference, and in some ways, touching people, and then making people smile also with some of the other songs that you're doing.
Of course.
And obviously have been making people smile for a while with Big Time Rush and the fan base that you've created over time. Congratulations are in order. I said it a little bit earlier, but you just won the Macy's iHeartRadio Rising Star competition.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What you're going to be opening up for the music festival in September, is that? Okay,
Vegas,
so what do you have planned? Like, tell me about your excitement about winning and give me the whole rundown.
I mean, it's really, really cool to be on the same stage as Coldplay and The Weeknd. I mean, it's a dream come true, and especially doing it right now independently off any label. It's a rare opportunity to get to do that when you're not with a major. And winning this just goes back 100% to my fans. Thank you guys so very much for believing in me and voting for me. It was an amazing process just getting there, and now of course for the festival I want to step it up a little bit. I've been playing with just a really stripped down show, just one other basic guitarist and myself. And for this, I'm going to add in a drummer, probably a couple of dancers, probably add in a new dynamic, which I haven't done yet.
Dancers, that's cool.
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to throw into my shows, and just haven't felt yet, and haven't been playing enough yet to justify it. But for this, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
it's
will
not
you
done
dance
yet.
with them, or are you going to let them
Yeah,
do background stuff?
I enjoy movements. You know, I've never considered myself an amazing dancer, but I've always kind of just done it. And the more I keep doing it, the more I go, oh crap, I'm okay at this. Like it's kind of fun. So
I'm not so bad.
yeah, look, it's a shorter set than I've been playing. So I figure for whatever the period of time that is, I just want people dancing and going. I'm opening the show, and I want it to be exciting. So
yeah, bring the energy.
Yeah, I'll probably start out doing something really mellow, maybe just piano and acoustic for like 30 seconds, and then just switch it, have my drummer kick in, have track kick in, have my guitarist jump in, and then have some dancers, just getting people going. So
I'm getting excited.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
Should be.
James, before we get into the 10 for 10, I of course have to ask the question, are there any plans in the future for a Big Time Rush reunion, or potentially doing a song with one or all of the guys?
You never know. I think I'm always going to be open-minded to it. The guys are like family to me. We spent so many years together. We're still in touch. Obviously, in the near future, I am working on my music and working on my own projects, and that's going to be my focus probably for the rest of my life. But if there's an opportunity for us to play something together, who knows? You know, open-minded to it, but just not in the forefront of the plans right now.
Okay, keep it an open mind.
Yeah.
That's good. Are you ready for the 10 for 10?
I think so. Let me take a sip. And
Yeah. Take a sip and get ready.
Okay, now I'm
we're
ready.
We're going to put you to the test.
Now I'm ready.
10 questions, 10 seconds to answer each one. Here we go. In your estimation, the amount of time it took to put your album together?
From when we really figured it out to when you finished, it was only about 6 months.
That's pretty, okay, that's pretty.
It was like
that's
2
so
years of struggling until then. So.
So 2 years and 6 months.
Sure.
You just recently celebrated your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy belated. Best gift you ever received for a birthday?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I told you to get ready. They're not easy.
A massage gift certificate. Who doesn't like massages?
Those are good. Those are really good. Besides your own music, a song that we'd catch you singing to yourself either in the car, in the shower, walking around the street, like besides for your own?
Ooh, Life of the Party, Smokey Robinson.
Okay.
That just gets stuck in my head.
Okay, that's good. So we talked about it a little bit earlier. You were on the cover of the July issue of Men's Health Mexico. Very cool. What is your fitness motivation? So when you go to the gym and you're like, I just can't do this for another day. I'm so over this. What gets you back in the gym and lifting?
Just long-term goals. I want to continue to play the certain roles that I want acting-wise and be able to be on stage and be healthy for the rest of my life. So I just kind of think about that and say, what is another hour? What's another 15 minutes? What's another 15 seconds? And just break it down to miniature increments and keep going.
Yeah, there you go. The song on How I Like It that you think has the best personal backstory?
I'm going to go with Breaking.
Why? I need to know, because that's my favorite.
Oh, no, you said 10 seconds. I think we're about 1, 2, 3. We're definitely over 10 seconds now. So I'm so sorry. Your rules, so I want to break your rules.
All right, I'm going to make you tell me later then.
Off camera.
I need to know, because he knows that's my favorite one. We had Jake T. Austin here. We talked about his girlfriend, who started as a fan, a super fan, and now they've been together for a long time.
Look at that.
Love the whole thing, yeah. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least likely and 10 being the most likely, how likely would you be, or how open would you be to really dating a fan, like going on a date and actually giving it a shot?
I mean, I'll give almost anything a shot. So I'll give that a 10.
Guys, he has no standards.
Just absolutely none, not whatsoever. Clearly. Look, I'd be down. Look, but at the same time, like if somebody, I want somebody who has their own world, own life going on. So if they're a super fan where everything is about me, that won't work. I don't want somebody who's just tagging along. But if they're a super fan who also is amazing at something and tenacious over their own dreams, and then I can be a super fan of theirs, then hell yeah, that'd be rad.
That was really sweet. I like that you could be their super fan as well. Yeah, that was good.
Just came to me.
A+. I like that one. No, it's very charming. All right. Favorite meal?
Breakfast burrito, steak, potato, beans, just, I love it.
That's good. Your ideal date?
Something unexpected. Maybe a hot air balloon, or I actually had, all right, we're going to take more than 10 seconds for this one. I had set up, I think deep down inside I'm a hopeless romantic. I may be perpetually single as long as I live in Los Angeles for reasons just like this. This is a year and a half, 2 years ago, I think at this point, right before Valentine's. I met somebody a week before.
Okay.
We really hit it off, went on like a couple of super awesome dates, like a lunch date, and it was great, like a proper dinner date. And which I feel like that doesn't happen that often in this generation in Los Angeles. Like, hey, let's meet for drinks.
Which is a shame. We should do that more.
Sure, exactly. And so it was very cool. It was very much more traditional and sweet. And long story short, after a couple of awesome dates and Valentine's was coming up that weekend, of course, it's like, hey, I know this is kind of quick, but would you like to hang out on Valentine's and do something? She seemed excited, said yes. So I planned this this extravagant thing that was literally having a car come and pick us up, take us down to, take a helicopter from, literally it was extreme, from Newport to Catalina Island. I'd reserved a private room in a really nice restaurant, but before that, like a boat trip around the island. I was like, why not?
I don't know if you watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but this does sound like a date that would happen on The Bachelor.
Real good. I'll be there to consult anytime they need. And you know what? She had no idea about any of this. I mean, to this date, unless she's tuning in right now, and then, sorry. But no, I never said anything.
What happened to her? Where'd she go?
No, she then just started to kind of play games of like, hey, don't respond as quickly over text. And like, oh, I did say I'd hang out with my girlfriends. And then just like eventually she canceled last minute, which is fine. I just wrote back, no problem. But it was such a bummer.
That's not cool after such a nice date that
Well, I didn't tell her I'd had that all set up. I wanted to surprise her.
Oh, you didn't get to it. Okay.
No, what am I going to do after that? Be like, oh, well, you should have known. No. But,
so some lucky lady is going to get that date eventually.
Eventually, yeah. Well, it's got to be different now. But
is it tougher to date in California? Is that why?
I don't think that people understand what dating is supposed to be in California. I'm not sure that I do anymore at this point.
Yeah.
But in Los Angeles, anyways, it's just an interesting town. I love it. I live there. But I can't wait to go back to San Diego eventually. Being a town that's just a little bit more chill. Emphasis isn't all about let's be famous, which isn't a job, by the way. It's a byproduct of being good at something in the industry.
Fair.
But it's weird. I think it's kind of strange, LA.
All right, we're going to start the campaign. Bring back traditional dating.
Or maybe I got to move to New York, huh?
Yeah, well, you started here, right? So you can end up here.
I did.
So, all right, back to the album for 1 second. There's 12 songs on the album. Tell me about the lost song that you wish, if you had the 13th slot, that you wish could have gone on the album.
It was tough to narrow it down. I mean, originally I was just going to do an EP and just couldn't really pick, and was so proud of this chunk of songs. We went to an LP, which full album. There were other songs. There was a song called Boo Hoo that I really thought was going to make it at first. It was kind of ended up being like Cry Me a River, JT, which is a lot of fun. And it was just this really big chorus. It was basically about like, hey, if you're kind of going back to like, if you want to talk to somebody, but you're just too afraid because she's the prettiest girl in the room and everybody's going after it. It's almost like a self-confidence booster of like, boo hoo, who cares, go give it a shot. But it just didn't come together quite right. But now I'm thinking about it, maybe that is one worth revisiting.
Yeah, let's inspire you to revisit. I like that one, because it's like, what's the worst that could happen? They just say no and you move on, and you save the date for someone else.
There
better. Okay, something that you haven't done yet, either musically or acting-wise, that you can't wait to tackle.
Something I haven't done yet. That's a good one. Acting-wise, I've always wanted to play a more military-esque role, which I'm kind of looking and developing and producing right now. I grew up shooting with my dad since I was really little, because he was like a target champion shooter. So I've had so much experience in that world. Every time I watch an actor who's never handled a firearm or something go in, like holding the trigger, all these things, that kind of makes me cringe. So I can't wait to do that. And then on the music side, I'm starting to play a little bit more guitar live. I've always been more comfortable on piano. And I really want to incorporate some electric guitar, which I've never done, which I think I'm going to throw into an upcoming show. Probably not Vegas, but
An
soon.
upcoming show.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're just so cool. You have so many. I love talking to you about your music because you can just tell that you're so in love with it and you know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it and all the little details to it. And so for everybody to get that, you have to go get his album. It's called How I Like It, and it's out right now. And also check out James's YouTube channel because he also does Maslow Mondays and all these fun YouTube videos. And of course, the iHeartRadio Music Festival, he'll be there as well. So, James, thank you so much for hanging out with us and giving us such great music. And
thanks for having me.
I'm going to figure out what's going on with breaking, and all the guys are going to start hitting you up to find out how to plan great dates. So
Sounds good. Guys, I'm here for you anytime. Although it didn't work, so maybe you shouldn't ask me.